Hello, and welcome along. Today, I want to discuss with you stillness versus stuckness. And so, this conversation is really tapping into something that we don't tend to do that often in a really busy world that is on 24/7. You know, the modern world is built to be like the perpetual, eternal summer. It's always about build, grow, develop, more, on, right? Expand, develop, progress. Yeah. And of course, when we look at the wisdom of nature, there is a cycle to the seasons, right? And it's not an eternal summer that goes on, nor an eternal spring that is always, out there doing its beautiful thing. There are the more inverted, still, dying, slowing, shedding seasons that come as well. And so that's part of what's tapping into our conversation today. We're in that mode, not in the external summer outward mode, but more in the coming to the quiet, coming to the core piece is where we start to discover stillness. Stillness. And stillness is such an incredible quality to tap into. This is the doorway to true inner peace, right? This is the doorway to that calmness that we often crave, right? We often crave to, when things are just very hectic or overwhelming, or they bother us, and life is just irritating. Sometimes when you really get to the core of what somebody wants, deep down, they're asking for inner peace, right? For some of us, at certain points in life, all we want is stillness and peace. And, you can bring to mind like the very calm, still mountainous lakes, right? That are so still that they reflect the sky and the mountains right back, just like a mirror. There is something absolutely sublime about experiencing that level of stillness. This is why many people try and sit on these cushions and be still and still all of these levels of mind, body, heart, soul, which is very hard to do, right? So that in that situation, after meditation, the goal there is about tapping in to that kind of stillness, right? There is an amazing perfection in it, and that is it's a beautiful thing to aspire towards. It is a beautiful thing to experience, and it is a beautiful thing to cultivate within our lives. And so stillness is important for so many reasons. Why do we sleep at night? Why do we let our bodies be still and we rest? Because we heal, we rejuvenate, we regenerate, right? There's a mechanism inbuilt in us to just make us be still, even if we're not the types of people that like to be still. And of course, in sleep, of course, there's all these dynamic processes going on in the body, right? Physiologically, in our dream states, etc. But we require some level of stillness there so that the deeper parts of us can do the work. And this is why being with stillness and cultivating stillness is essential. It is essential to our health and well-being to experience that level of deep peace and stillness within our core and being. So one, getting to that journey and experiencing that is one thing. For many people, you're already there, right? Stillness, you know it, you cultivate it, you love it, it's part of your life. And so herein lies a different kind of problem now. And this is really the core of what I want to get to today. Stillness versus stuckness. Sometimes we can start to enjoy the stillness and be in the stillness and expand the stillness so much in life that one day we find we've actually created stuckness. And this is an issue because, again, if you look to nature, right, if you look to spirit, nature, they don't stay stuck. There is always movement taking place. Even in that still water, there is still something somewhere in that pool, a movement, right? A movement of some sort taking place. And so, has that happened to you ever? Is it happening now where you're enjoying the stillness? You love the stillness, but perhaps that has become a stuckness of some sort, or even an area of your life where things have ground to a halt and you find yourself unable to move in one area of life. Maybe there are other domains of life that are going wonderfully. That's great. But there's this one that is now stuck, and that is starting to have a ripple effect on other areas. Let me know if you relate. So, as valuable as it is when it comes to stuckness, we have to do something now. We have to create a shift in some way so that that stuckness doesn't become stagnated energy that then starts to rot and fester and turn into all of these other issues, right? Again, if you go to bodies of water, if you look at a body of water that is completely stuck and stagnated over time, it gets health issues that go on, right? We are no different in that way, whether it is that we start to experience physical health issues, heart health issues, head health issues, right? That stagnation, that stuckness can cause dis-ease on layers of our being. So we have to be able to discern when. When is it the right time to be still? When is it the right time not to be still? Yeah. So again, back to those seasons, there are times in our life where that dynamic flow has to take place and we should engage with it. And that's fantastic. And we move with the flow of life. And there are also times in our life that call for the calm and the rest and the still, right? Just like at nighttime we sleep and we rest, there are moments in our life, especially psychologically in our soul and how we process things. There are times when naturally, if we come to that stillness, deeper things can happen. And so if you feel that you are at a point in your life where you would benefit from, if it's pockets of stillness or even great chunks of stillness, if your soul is calling to experience that, then that is a great thing to honor if you can, or in the best way that you can, because there is something deeper that is wanting to let itself be known to you, to come through you, to make you even more of who you are. So that's a bit about knowing when to be still or not. And I wanted to share with you some simple things that you can do to cultivate stillness. Right, I'll share 3 with you, right? Here's an easy one that never goes anywhere at all and is always accessible to you. Breathe, right? Breathe. And although the breath, of course, is dynamic, it is a supreme tool to, in an instant, bring us always back to this very moment and to slow us down and to slow everything down. We can work so powerfully with our breath to deepen it, to slow it, to put counters into it, to do whatever it is you can do to just, and you'll feel it, right? You feel it. Breathe, take some deep breaths with me now as you're listening to this, right? It just calms and stills everything. It's like after the bottle has been shaken and the sediments are now coming, right? The breath and the staying still allows us to just rest and start to experience once again the stillness and expand it from there. Another thing that you can do, another simple thing that you can do, but very potent to cultivate the stillness and to help welcome more of that still space in your life, is to clear space and make space for it. So clear the clutter. Clear the clutter as much as you can, whether it be the physical, the emotional, the mental clutter, right? Because what that stuff does everywhere around us is gives us things to engage with, right? So whether it's busyness in our heart, busyness in our mind, busyness in our relationships, busyness in our space, something's going on. And so it creates an energy of movement as opposed to the stillness. If you go to like a Zen monastery, they're bare, right? You look at the Japanese rock art, like those rock gardens or those temples. Something they get Zen monks to do is stare at walls, to sit in a position that kills your knees and to stare at walls. And they only eat one meal a day, and it's very plain and it's repetitive, right? There is a reason for this. That is an extreme case of clear the clutter and making it clutter free, because from there you're almost forced into a type of stillness in that zone, right? And of course, stillness creates dynamism because we're always dynamic. So it's amazing to watch how, as we get more and more still, the subtle dynamics have a chance to express themselves more and more, instead of the gross ones, right, that we get tied up with every single day, the big things that can take our attention. As the stillness comes, those smaller things, but often the very much more important things, can actually come through and surface. And so that was the second simple thing you can do, is about clear the clutter, clear the clutter, clear the clutter, right? And what's the third simple thing? I'm going to repeat it. Clear the clutter, clear more clutter, right? Keep going so that you can have vastness in your space to create the vastness that the inner world craves, that even your outer world might be craving, right? Allow your outer world to reflect back to you your ideal space that you are wanting to create. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to happen overnight. We are all a work in progress. If you came and looked at my world and my life, I am far from perfect in every way. My world is a dynamic work in progress as well, right? So it is about working with ourselves to create what it is in our intention and what it is that our deep soul is calling for in each moment. And finally, how your spiritual experiences can help you out of your stuckness. So you're here joining me, obviously, because you've had spiritual experiences, because that is what we talk about in this space, and that is what I love helping people with. And your spiritual experiences are the core. What they do is they tap into the core essence of who we are, right? Whether they were pleasant or even distressing experiences, there is something there about those experiences that can help us understand more of who we are. And that is incredibly valuable, especially in a world that wants to tell us who we are, right? To know who you are and to stand in your sovereign power is so incredibly empowering and impactful just in itself. So your spiritual experiences are able to get you out of stuckness purely by reconnecting with them or staying connected with them and learning from them and expanding them, because by their very nature, spiritual experiences are not stuck. As they are, they're not stuck. So by you being with them, growing with the experience, right? Staying with the experience. It doesn't mean you have to, clear everything out so that you're recreating the experience. That's a bit tricky, and it's actually not really recommended, right? It's more about taking the fruits of the experience, the wisdom of the experience, and reconnecting with the core essences that you felt through it, right? And use that to infuse your day to day. Use that to infuse your day as you walk forward, as you have your conversations, as you do whatever it is that you do, because that comes from the deepest space of your beautiful, divinely designed essence. And that's a gorgeous thing. So let me know how this lands. Are you in stillness? Are you in stuckness? Are you in dynamic movement, wanting to be more of the stillness? How does this cycle go for you? I'd love to know. Leave me some comments. As always, I read everything, and I want to hear from you. Much, much, much love.